Good evening. Welcome to our open house for the High School Self-Paced Learner Virtual Academy. This is for high school students who have chosen option 3. This is for grades 9 through 12. All right? So, if you are here for elementary, please make sure you return Thursday, September 3rd at 5 p.m. That's when we will do elementary. We did middle school at 5 o'clock today. You will probably see the presentation already there on our YouTube channel. So again, tonight is for our high school self-paced learner. This is students who have chosen option 3. Welcome to our open house. The session will be 45 minutes. The session will be recorded and posted on the NCSS website for later access. Question and answer time will be provided at the end of the presentation. Use the link you see there to ask any questions that you have, and the presenters will answer them as time permits. Please keep in mind this session is 45 minutes. You may ask questions using the link you see there posted, and we will answer them as time permits. All right. Tonight you will hear from the self-paced learning team. Dr. Nikita Warfield, Director of Secondary Schools. Me, Ms. Chandria Neely, Coordinator of Secondary Schools. Ms. Anna Hebert Daniel, Self-Paced Program Coordinator. And Ms. Dee Dee Davis, Self-Paced Program Coordinator. We look forward to speaking with you tonight. Please keep in mind again that you are welcome to drop questions there for us to respond to after we finish the presentation. Before we begin, let's review the self-paced instructional model. NCSS Self-Paced Virtual Academy combines the benefits of a traditional school with the flexibility and personalization that online learning offers. Our competency-based learning approach allows students to move faster or slower through the material, depending on their individual skills and knowledge. The characteristics of a self-paced learner. The self-paced learner is independent, organized, good reading and comprehension skills, excellent time management skills, and very disciplined. Now I'm going to bring to the podium the coordinator, Ms. Anna Hebert Daniel.
Good evening. My name is Anna Hebert Daniel, and like Ms. Neely said, I'll be one of the program coordinators for our students who chose the self-paced option for the first semester this year. Just a quick overview of our program. The self-paced option is a partnership between the Newton County School System and Edgenuity. This will allow students to work on their full course load of classes, that's core and electives. They will receive credit from their base school, and they'll have flexibility as to what time of day and how many hours a day they log in and complete their work. It's important to note students will be enrolled in this first semester with the expectation that they complete the whole half credit, that's a 70 or above, and the accompanying cumulative exam by Wednesday, January 27th of 2021. That's the end of the first semester, and at that point, half credits will be awarded to students who passed. Students will be aided by an NCSS employee who serves as their facilitator. This person will monitor students, check progress, assist with technical support, and importantly, correspond with parents. However, it is important to note that a student's grade will be calculated by the Edgenuity platform. Students will have access to a content teacher from their base school who can answer content-related questions that may come up and close gaps in understanding during their teacher office hours. However, students are encouraged to also use other websites to help with any academic struggles, for example, Khan Academy. Additionally, students have access to the virtual tutor within the Edgenuity platform for all classes with an end-of-course test or an end-of-grade test. The Edgenuity coursework is available for students to work on 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Students can choose to use their notes on quizzes, retake quizzes as necessary, although it's important to remember that a reset will be required by a facilitator if they have failed the assessment more than twice. So let's talk about grades. As I said earlier, our self-paced students' grades will come from the coursework they do in their online class. This is much like an independent study course. Students will individually work their way through the curriculum with online video lectures from Edgenuity teachers, lab activities and assessments based on what kind of course this is. There may be journaling prompts, vocabulary activities, articles and questions online, and of course, quizzes and tests. Students will get to actively monitor their status and are encouraged to use the student dashboard upon logging in to get feedback on their progress. Students will see a color-coded dashboard to help them understand if they're on target to meet the progress to complete the course, if they are close to the target, or if they need to put in some more work to be able to be on target. One major change for students to keep in mind: student grades will not only reflect their graded assignments, but also the progress they are making in the class. For example, let's say a student gets a good grade on an assessment in the first week, but then doesn't get the time they need and doesn't log in during the second week. They will be held accountable for the first and second week's material. It is really important for our students to reach weekly goals in order to maintain those passing grades. Another big change for students and parents is that grades are not reflected in the Infinite Campus parent portal in real time. Many students and parents are used to checking the parent portal in Infinite Campus daily or several times a week to check it for an average, and that's not going to be the case with Edgenuity. Student grades will be updated in Infinite Campus at the 4.5, 9-week, 13.5, and the end of the semester. So that's October 7th, November 11th, December 16th, and then the final end of semester, January 27th. That's when students can check Infinite Campus to see their grades. But again, students can see that information in real time on the student dashboard. So I've mentioned the facilitator several times. Each middle school has a facilitator, 2 facilitators in fact, but this is the high school session, so let's look at our high school facilitators. At Alcovey High School, Mr. Chris Newsham and Mr. Jason Dukes will be serving as the facilitators. At East Side, it's Mr. Frankie Iverson and Mr. Ashley Sen. Students at Newton College and Career Academy will be facilitated by Ms. Kelly Ortiz and Datha Curtis. And lastly, Ms. Kimberly Reed and Dr. Beverly Johnson will serve as the facilitators for Newton High School. For our students and parents at the Newton College and Career Academy, it's important to note that your primary facilitator will be Ms. Ortiz and Ms. Curtis. Now, as we move on to the next portion of our presentation, parents, students, I want to invite you to use the Google form linked here to submit your questions. We have some frequently asked questions embedded within the presentation, but we will have approximately 15 minutes at the end to answer the questions that you're sending in. So please take a moment and submit a question if it's already come to you. Now, let's talk about the course structure for classes in Edgenuity. Each of your courses will be divided into lessons and units. Each lesson will have many parts. A lesson could have vocabulary exercises, short writing assessments, labs, direct instruction, and remember those are going to be videos that are embedded within Edgenuity from Edgenuity staff. There could be other online content such as reading prompts, articles. There are also homework and practice activities. Students, I know it won't feel like homework because you're doing everything from home, but the practice activities are important to help you get ready for the quizzes. Each unit will have between 3 and 5 lessons. There are also several topical tests embedded within the unit. At the end of your course, once all units are completed, a cumulative exam is given. There's going to be 3 different types of assessments that students see. Quizzes are 10 questions. And please take note that there's time allotments for each type of assessment in Edgenuity. So students will have 60 minutes to work on their 10-question quiz. Topic or chapter tests will be 25 questions, and students will get 2 hours to work on those. Cumulative exams, and that's the one at the end of the semester, it's 50 questions, and students will have 180 minutes to complete it. You may ask yourself, well, what if I can only get through part of it? So this is an important change. Let's say a student works the first 30 minutes on their chapter test. They get 10 questions done. They can save and exit the assessment. However, when they go back in to the assessment to submit it, the 30 minutes will be subtracted from their time available, and the questions that they submitted and saved beforehand will not be available to review. The reason that those assessment questions will not be available to review is to help students with their academic integrity. This is very important, and we expect all of our self-paced students to show academic integrity. Academic dishonesty of any form or type will not be tolerated. Online students are expected to strictly follow any policy that includes cheating and plagiarism. When we talk about plagiarism, remember students, it's using, paraphrasing, or quoting a published work without acknowledgement. Please understand that your work and each assignment should be completely your own. You should not allow other students to copy your work. You should not misuse the content from the internet. And this is very important, you will not share your login with others. Your login and the work that is assigned to you should be completed by you. So let's talk about how we can be successful. Students, some of our recommendations to be a successful self-paced learner are to find a quiet space or a space that you can work free of distraction. Establish a routine that works for you and your family. Some students may find that they're most productive early in the morning. Others may want to work when they get home from their jobs. But you need to have a routine and try to start and end each work session at the same time each day. This will help you stay on track and avoid procrastinating. Remember, self-paced doesn't mean that you can put it off for a long period of time. You are expected to meet weekly goals and make progress in your courses. You should set daily goals to help you get closer to meeting your weekly goals. If this is something you struggle with, your facilitator can help you set and outline a weekly goal. You may have to try different ways to get your work done. You may decide to work in your English class for an hour and then switch to your science class. You may decide to work in your English class until you reach 15% progress and then move to another class. If you're struggling, you should try different strategies and find the one that works best for you so that you can meet your weekly goals. You may want to start every day with your favorite class, or maybe you want to end every day with your favorite class. Ultimately, it is important for students to listen to the facilitator and do what he or she asks of you to help keep yourself on the path to success. So if you've looked at a calendar, you know that our first day of school is next week. What does your first day of school look like? Students should log in to Edgenuity through My Launchpad. We'll have specific directions for that later in our presentation. If you have difficulty logging into the system, you should contact your school facilitator. Then get started. Use the weekly or daily goals set with your facilitator to guide your work. On the first day of school, let's start with your favorite class and begin working. Work in that class for about an hour and then change to a different class when you get to a good stopping point. On our first day of school, we should aim to work for at least 3 hours or until your daily goals have been met. But you can always work ahead. You can work above and beyond your daily or weekly goal. Parents and teachers, I know that as we talk about logging in and what this school day should look like, you may have questions. So parents and students, please feel free to use the Google form and the link attached to submit questions for the question and answer portion that we have coming up. We do have some of our frequently asked questions already, so this might cover the bases for some of you. How much time will I be working each week? Depending on a student's specific course, students can expect to spend about 18 to 21 hours online a week. Can I work ahead and take classes for the next semester or next school year? No. Right now, you can't do that. That's because the way for the credit is awarded for these courses. Students will receive half credits at the end of each semester. That leads us to our next frequently asked question. Why is there a semester-long commitment for this program? That's because students will be awarded half unit of credit once they pass the class. Students need to remain in the program for the duration of the semester so that you guys can make sure that you remain on track for graduation. Additionally, due to the self-paced nature of the courses, if you tried to switch your instructional model during the semester, you may not be at the same place as your peers, and you could lose valuable instruction. Many parents have asked, my child is gifted. Will this be reflected in their coursework? Absolutely. There are gifted and accelerated courses available for students. If you are gifted or advanced during the normal school day, you will be placed in the gifted or advanced courses in Edgenuity pending course availability. Will you receive textbooks? No. Edgenuity courses have everything you need built into the digital platform. The material in Edgenuity will cover the same standards as the NCSS courses, but you're not basing this off of any specific set of textbooks. Another question that parents have asked, how will attendance be taken for students? Attendance is going to be taken by monitoring student logins and the duration of time spent working in the course. Now students, it's important that you know idle time in your web browser will not count. If you were to log in, click on a class, and then walk away for 30 minutes, that 30 minutes would be subtracted from your time online. Student submission of assignments will also be used for attendance purposes. Other questions have related to whether or not students will receive accommodations. If your students receive accommodations in the classroom, they will still receive those. When students log in, the orientation video will give instructions on how to translate text from English to Spanish, the read aloud features of the text, and how to retake assignments. However, students will not receive live teaching or live direct instruction from an NCSS teacher. How do I track my students' progress? Parents, I know we need to remember this. It's not going to update in real time with Infinite Campus. You need to review the student dashboard with your child weekly. This dashboard will not only show you the current average or grade on assignments, but also the progress towards completing the course. Like we said earlier in the presentation, this will be color-coded, and that way you can see at a glance whether your child is on pace to finish their classes. You may also contact your school's facilitator with specific questions about your students' progress. Some of you are going to ask about tech support. This is a new model for self-paced instruction, and there is tech support available. Each school will have a dedicated help desk and help line that can assist students with connectivity issues, school-issued Chromebooks, and other technology issues, and your facilitator will point you in the direction. It's important to remember, students, though, just because you can set your own work hours, the help desks are going to be manned 8 to 4. So looking ahead, we have some important dates. On Thursday, September 3rd, students should log in to ensure that they can access Edgenuity. You'll do that through My Launchpad. Your coursework will not be available until the first day of school, though, and that's September 8th. Middle school students, you'll log in between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. High school students should log in between 1 and 3 p.m. If you are unable to log into Edgenuity, you'll contact Ms. Dee Dee Davis at davis.dd@newton.k12.ga.us. And then after you rest up for your long weekend, on Tuesday, September 8th, we will have the first day of school, and all self-paced students should log into Edgenuity on Tuesday. Parents, students, we are getting close to the question and answer portion of our presentation, so please don't forget to use the Google form attached to this link to send in any questions. Now, in our last group of questions, we mentioned logging in. Let's take a look at what that's going to look like. Students must start with My Launchpad. This is going to be the single sign-on. You'll sign in by using your network login username and password. All right? If you have a school-issued device, My Launchpad should be your homepage when you open Chrome. If you don't, you can go to the website you see here, launchpad.classlink.com/newtonga. Students, your username will be the way you log into the computer. That's your last name, first and middle initial, your birth month, and your birthday. Your password will be your student number or your lunch number. Once you log into My Launchpad, you'll see the Edgenuity app or tile on this mock desktop. You'll open that up. And students, as soon as you log into Edgenuity for the first time, you'll get a 2-minute orientation video. This is your first assignment. You need to watch this video. It's about 2 minutes long, and it goes through some of the functionalities of the program, such as how you submit work, how you save work, and how you turn on some of the text to read aloud features. All right, let's make sure that we're getting those questions submitted. Now, as we wait for the questions to come in, let's look at a little bit of stuff for our parents that are watching and talk about how you can support your self-paced student. One way is to establish a routine. Establish some structure to students to provide some consistency and also some expectations that your family has as to when your student will work. You should create a learning space for students. Find somewhere that they can be comfortable and get their work done. Talk about the program and the learning with your child. Talk to them about the questions they may have, the content they're working on, and like we discussed earlier in the program, talk about the dashboard to help them understand their progress. You need to help your student maintain a balance. They need to have a healthy, active life and be aware of their screen time. Pay attention to how much screen time your child has and try to balance it with other activities as needed. Please don't forget to stay connected. Help your child find ways to be connected to their classmates and reach out. Talk to other parents who have students in the self-paced virtual model or who have children in other virtual programs. And then get support. Get support from those people in your community, or ask your teacher, your child's facilitators, or tech support if you have questions or need any help. Looking ahead, parents, this evening you should receive an email detailing the overview and expectations of the self-paced program. You'll receive this email if you selected the self-paced option 3, and it will come to the email on file with your student. If you choose to have your students stay in the self-paced learning model, no further action is required. However, there will be one final opportunity to opt out of this learning model by Friday, September 4th. And the directions for opting out of this model will be included in the email that you should receive. All right, so now we're going to take a moment. Let's let the questions come in. All right, here's our first question. When will grades be updated in Infinite Campus? If you refer back to our presentation, our self-paced students will have their grades updated at Infinite Campus for every progress report and report card. That's the 4.5 week, the 9 week, the 13.5 week, and at the end of the semester, which is January 27th of 2021. Here's our next question. Can students still sign up and participate in sports and extracurricular activities? Yes. Students who are enrolled in the self-paced model can still sign up and participate in their sports and extracurricular activities. Here's another question. My child is new to the district. How do they get their classes? All students, including our new students, will log into Edgenuity through the link for My Launchpad. This question asks, when will students be able to log in to Edgenuity? Students will be able to log into Edgenuity on Thursday, September 3rd, but it's important to remember that student coursework will not be available until September 8th. All right. This is another question. How do we opt out of self-paced? When will the email to opt out be sent? So to opt out of self-paced, the email will be sent this evening from the district to all parents of students who chose the self-paced virtual learning model. It is important to make sure you understand the email will be sent to the email that is registered in Infinite Campus. So make sure you look there. Okay, this question asks, are the credits different in self-paced versus face-to-face? The only difference is that students who are doing self-paced will receive a half credit in January. These are still the same credits that students will need to graduate. This student is asking, can I work with my friends on the self-paced platform? Students can collaborate while they're doing the virtual self-paced model, but it's important to maintain academic integrity while they're doing that. Every student should still submit their own work. Plagiarism will not be accepted. It's also important to know that Edgenuity has a vast test bank. And just because your friend is taking a test in biology that you're taking, the likelihood of seeing the same questions is slim to none. Okay, this parent is asking, what if my child forgets his or her lunch number? There's multiple ways you can get this. The Infinite Campus Parent Portal has it. Any report card that you have at home will have it. And most students can remember their lunch number, hopefully. We have a question about hotspot and laptop availability. You'll need to contact your student's school about devices. Here's a question that asks, does Edgenuity track how long the student is working? It does, and that is a key word. It tracks how long they are working. Like I mentioned earlier, if a student is idle and walks away from the browser, that time will be subtracted out when we look at the time a student was logged in, and it'll be subtracted out when we're using logged time for attendance and other reports. Okay, this parent asks, how do I meet my child's facilitator? The facilitator will reach out to you within the first week of school. Their contact information is also included in this presentation. At the conclusion of this orientation, we will post the presentation to the NCSS YouTube page. I think this question might be from a student. Is attendance necessary? Students will complete their courses virtually. Attendance will be taken based on the completion of assignments, as well as the number of hours that a student is actively working in Edgenuity. This is a good question. Since I'm doing self-paced, do I have to attend my base school's open house? You don't. Your teachers will be teaching you from Edgenuity. You'll have Edgenuity teachers, and you won't need to go to your school's open house. All right. Who do I contact if I have a question regarding the classes my student was given? You're going to need to contact your student's counselor at their base school. The classes were assigned to your student based on what they registered for and was in Infinite Campus prior to starting school on September 8th. How do we get our textbooks? This person asks. You don't need to worry about that. No physical textbooks will be used for your self-paced courses. All the required resources you will need will be right there in Edgenuity. This is a good question. Can AP classes be taken through the self-paced model? The answer is yes. Edgenuity offers a variety of AP courses. They are approved, and the syllabus has been vetted and approved by the College Board. You will be able to take the AP test in the spring, but it's important to know that you will not have access to live class sessions with the AP teacher in your building. This is self-paced AP. Okay. If my child completes the work early and does go above and beyond and completes everything early, is he still required to log in daily? If all of a child's assignments are complete and they've passed them and passed the cumulative exam at the end of the course, then students don't need to continue to logging in. This person asks, will my child be required to participate in Zoom meetings? There will be no Zoom meetings for instructional purposes. However, your student may have a Zoom meeting with their facilitator to check in on progress and goals. And in the event that they need to ask a question of a content teacher, they may set something up in office hours. Here's another technology question. Will facilitators use Remind? That's up to the individual facilitators, but probably so. We have time for a few more questions. I'm going to hand this over to Ms. Chandria Neely.
Okay, looking at this question, it states, what if self-paced does not work for my child? Is there a way to switch back to teacher-led virtual? Again, remember, you have until September the 4th to respond to or opt out of the virtual model, the self-paced learner model. If after that time you are there, you will have to complete the semester. So keep in mind, the Self-Paced Virtual Academy is set for semesters. You do have an option to opt out right now until September the 4th. You will receive the email tonight regarding that option to opt out. We're waiting for the next question to come in. Is there going to be a deadline to change classes in Edgenuity? Yes, self-paced students will have the same opportunity as within the regular school. The window is normally the first 10 days of school. Make sure you contact your school counselor if you're interested in changing your courses. All right. We have reached all of our questions. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully, we have answered all of your questions and shared much information, much needed information with you regarding our self-paced learner virtual model. Please make sure you remember that the presentation is in the description below. The recording will be here and available to you to review. Thank you again and have a good night.